Last live stream of the Trump presidency on a Tuesday night is tonight. So let y'all get caught in here. We'll wait till the screen goes. There we go. And hopefully y'all give me a 5x5 and we'll get the party started here. And waiting. Jacob's usually the first one to give me a 5x5. And he's this again. What do you know? He's always sitting there first. Okay, well, good evening, gang. And so we've got, like I said there, as we started, the last Tuesday night of the Trump presidency. When we're doing this next weekend, we will have Beijing Biden as our president. So we'll kind of go from there. But okay, as per normal, a couple of housekeeping things I wanted to go through. A few of you all mentioned this morning that you thought I had gone live in the middle of the night or something like that. Just wanted to give you a heads up of what was going on. There were 3 live streams that were taken down. I think it was 2 of them from Saturday, and then the Santa Claus one on Tuesday were miraculously disappeared right after we did them. And I got with YouTube and trying to figure out what was going on. Basically, what it looks like is my YouTube account was hacked and somebody took them down. And so YouTube and I have been working on it, and they think they've figured out who it is. So they will be going after that. So actually, at this point, we might actually have YouTube on our side for a change, which is nice to hear. So I didn't go live in the middle of the night or whatever. Those were videos from late December and the one from the 2nd of January. That's what those were. So nobody missed anything at what we got. And Jacob, I'm going to add you right now as a mod. I saw you come over there and I haven't seen anybody else come in. So you now have a blue wrench. So, because we all know how this goes. We get all the trolls in here. Other thing I put the link down in the description down here for y'all. Free YouTube downloader. And I'm going to kind of talk about that, but that's something that I want you all to go get because this is going to be very important right now. We all know what's going on with social media and, Trump having his accounts everywhere deleted. Ron Paul got his deleted. If anybody saw it today, Ice Age Farmer had some of his stuff taken out. I mean, this is a guy that's about as non-political as you get, okay? But what I'm saying is you can go download the free YouTube downloader, and you can download any of the videos off of YouTube and save them to your computer. Where I'm saying that this is going to be very important is on the how-to videos. Let's say you are a rookie at canning, guilty, okay? And you want the instructions on how to can a whole bunch of stuff, okay? Download those videos and save them to your hard drive, because if those channels disappear, again, you got to think of who they're whacking here. It's all the conservative channels, the homesteading channels, the prepper channels, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's where most of us get the how-tos on doing stuff. Go download those videos while you can. The free YouTube downloader is obviously free, so use it there and save it, because the last thing you want to do come, I don't know, a week from now, 2 weeks from now, who knows what happens come next Tuesday, is that you can't access any of these videos and you're going, crap, I don't know where any of this stuff is. Okay. So that was the big housekeeping thing that I wanted y'all to take care of, and, spend a little bit of time doing that this week. Find the stuff that you need from the channels that you like, and, download all that stuff. It's probably going to be very important to you. So, okay, so Jacob, you got the blue wrench, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Sean's here too. So we've got a couple of my moderators in here, so they will be the troll police. And from what I saw in Jason's live stream, I guess some guy named EF was trolling the hell out of him last night. So Jacob, you probably know this. You've heard it enough. We don't give second chances around here. First time, you don't give them 300 seconds. You just boot them. All right. Don't want anybody around there. There's enough good stuff in the comments. I'm not going to waste my time with trolls. I don't need you guys doing it either. All right. And considering the whole thing about those videos taken down, we have a feeling it was one of our trolls who was the hacker. So that's kind of where that one's going. And depending on who it is, we may have some very interesting proceedings, if that word gives you any sort of tip on what's going on. So, all right. Standard rules apply. If you got questions, please put them in all caps so I can see what we got. And let's fire away. I figure with everything that's gone on since Saturday, at least with me, and God knows with everybody else, you guys might have some questions. But fire away whatever you got. I don't care if it's politics, if it's gardening, if it's whatever. The latest interesting one, me and Mrs. Pinball here are debating on whether to put a pond in the backyard. So that was what we were talking about this afternoon. So that was that. And we found out today, too, that somebody has actually bought the property next door. So I will have neighbors if they decide to improve the property or whatever. But somebody bought the land. So it's been for sale for 11 years and somebody finally bought it. So guess that means I'm not buying it. So that'll be that. But okay, so let's see what we got there. I'm going to kind of scroll up a little bit. We've got a whole gang in here. Oh, I see our Australian friends from down in Boddington Farm are here. If anybody hasn't checked out their channel, please do. There's some really good stuff, especially if you want to talk about things like medicinal herbs and stuff like that. Real good things there. That very good stuff to do. Dave Williams is here from Mexico, okay? And I still want that Herradura, buddy. Eric the Redden here, Southern Belle teacher, Foggy Mountain Man, and his lovely name that somebody was commenting on today, so I'm guessing those are banjos there. Teresa's in here, Jen's in here, Patriot Ref's in here. Yep, seeing a lot of the regulars, so glad to see you guys all in again. So okay. I want to give you guys a story. This one's kind of interesting. What reminded me was Teresa just commented on here saying no COVID here to state of vax, everyone, depopulation, yada, yada. So if you guys were watching Saturday's live stream, you knew my daughter was here for a long weekend. It was basically time to do Christmas. Okay. So she went home yesterday, back up to Indiana. She goes to Indiana University. She'll graduate this year. And she rents an apartment with two other girls, I'm sorry. And obviously the schools are all closed, so they've been, home, and they won't start the semester. I think the 19th they start the semester, and then the first month or whatever thereabouts is online, then they'll go back to regular classes. Well, all three of the girls are seniors. They're all in, some sort of medical program one way or the other. One of the girls has to do student teaching, okay? And over Christmas, she tested positive for COVID, okay? Now, my daughter gets a phone call Sunday morning, that this roommate still tested positive, but she's done her 10 days quarantine, and so therefore the doctor said she's non-contagious. So she could go, so according to the doctor, even though she's still positive, she has not tested negative yet, the doctor said she could go back to campus. Well, of course, my daughter and the other roommate are livid because if she's still positive, they don't want to get sick. So the two of them, my daughter at least, went back to my ex's house and it's going to stay up there until this other roommate gets cleared, okay? But the interesting part is the girl who tested positive has to go do student teaching. So she's got a hold of Indiana University, who's got a hold of the high school, and they've both cleared her to go teach at the high school. Well, she's positive for COVID. So you've got a doctor who's cleared her, and a college, and a high school, who've all said, oh, no big deal. you're positive, but because you did this random number 10-day quarantine, it's okay to mingle with other people. Now, let's think about the math here. 30 kids in a high school class, one teacher. Let's say all 30 of those kids get sick and go home, and all 60 of those parents get sick, let alone how many brothers and sisters. So here, this one person, by this bad decision, could infect 100 people at 2 degrees. All right. And we all know the 7 degrees of separation. Let's start extrapolating that out. How many tens of thousands of people? This is why I look at some of this stuff and go, are you kidding me with you got to wear a mask, you got to social distance, we've got to lock everything down, when the doctors are literally saying, oh yeah, okay, we don't care, you tested positive, but the random 10-day quarantine, you finished, and if you say you feel okay, then go ahead. That's what we're up against, guys, okay? That's how much BS all this crap is, okay? But I thought y'all might like to know a real world story, not one that's somebody, heard from a brother, from a sister, from a cousin, from the neighbor's dog sitter, about what's going on. That happened directly to my daughter. So, yeah, that's kind of the crap that we're dealing with all of this. So, and that ain't fake news. So, all right. So I thought you might like that kind of story. Y'all got my opinion on all the fake news going on over the internet Sunday afternoon. So, Forrest, if you win the lottery tonight, you're going to buy your own country. Good. Can I have a visa? Because I'd love to come. Okay. Teresa drinking tonight, Tyrell too. There you go. Well, I'll stick with my non-alcoholic. So, okay. So what else we got going on? Teresa says, oh no, are they going to have to get a mandatory vaccine? Well, if you're asking about the kids, my daughter did, okay, have to get it because she's got to do 2,000 hours working in nursing homes. And so in that respect, it makes sense because she's in a obviously high risk area, okay? So, while I disagree with it, I don't necessarily disagree with the vaccine, okay? It's not for me, but I understand for plenty of people it is, okay? Whether it works or not, I cross my fingers for her, but I disagree with the mandatory part. If you choose to do it, that's your choice, okay? I don't have a problem with that. It's when somebody's going to knock on my door and put a gun to my head and say, okay, we're sticking you in the arm whether you like it or not. That's what I got a problem with. So, but choice, that's fine by me. Hey, prepper nerds in the house. Who else is here? Prepared Texans in the house. Lisa, yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Tell me about it, Treasures in Kentucky. You can show positive for 90 days or more. That's what the doctor told my brother. Yeah, where this doctor came up with 10 days, I mean, who knows? Okay, is she still contagious? Try testing for that. She hasn't had a negative test yet, therefore she's positive. Sorry, guys. As much as the left doesn't want to believe in binary, you're either negative or positive. You're either male or female. There is no in between. Okay. Lisa, perhaps Pence ruled out the 25th Amendment. Yeah, he did that a couple of days ago. They keep doing it. The whole impeachment thing. That's going to blow up in their face if they do it. It's got to be the stupidest use of time. Like, Congress doesn't have anything else to deal with. But, after Trump is out of office, they're going to impeach him because they're so afraid of him running in 2024. Guys, Trump's going to be 80 in 2024, okay? We're probably all going to have long since moved on, and God knows there's enough other people who are chomping at the bit to run in 2024, okay? Then the other part you get, if nobody noticed this, Shelley Adelson died this morning, all right, or overnight, okay? And if you don't know who he is, he's the one that, the casino owner, the Las Vegas Sands, that dumped, $75 million into Trump's re-election campaign or something like that. So, You had the Cook brothers. One of the Cook brothers died a year or so ago. Now you've had Shelley Adelson die. So, a lot of the big money that was behind Trump, usually behind the Republicans, but was behind Trump, ain't there now. So there's got to be some fresh blood coming in. So if they go through with this impeachment thing, that has got to be the biggest waste of time, and we all need to let our Congress people know it, Democrat and Republican, going, this is stupid. Work on, deal with something that's, more important, like, oh, I don't know, the economy, jobs, something like that. So, you know, if they push this through tomorrow, like they're going to say, I mean, everybody just needs to go hell bent for leather on telling everybody this is a big waste of time. And somebody before we went live had mentioned, I saw it and I forget who it was, and I don't want to scroll all the way to the top again, but asked, do you think this is going to get really crazy after the inauguration next week? Okay, is it going to be a real SHTF event? I will say again, I still stand behind what I said in my What If Biden Wins video from October. Okay. And so far it's panning out pretty accurate. My timing's off a little bit, but okay, I'm not Nostradamus. But everything that's going on, you're going to see. I think I said it was going to be March before the right went absolutely insane and you started having serious violence in the streets. It might be a lot faster. So my advice, guys, is don't be anywhere near Washington, D.C. next Tuesday, okay? And if you can at all help it, don't be anywhere near any major city next Tuesday, because you're going to have people out celebrating, the inauguration, which all that's going to do is bring in the radical right, and there's going to be a lot of ugliness next Tuesday. And I don't want to see anybody caught in the crossfire. And I think that could really happen. There's all these stories about they want marches on all 50 state capitals next week. Please do yourself a favor and stay away from that. There's going to be lots and lots and lots of dangerous characters, let's put it out there, that you don't want to get caught in the middle of. So, that's my thing. That's how it goes. So, all right. Yeah, and at the same time I said that, don't, Patriot Ref, don't go to your local capitals. They're baiting people. Yep. Okay, let's go back up here a little bit. See where I found out here. Treasures in Kentucky. Someone said all Republicans should register independent. Would that make any difference? Not really. Okay. I mean, the one difference that it will make is if you register as an independent in some states, you won't be allowed to vote in primary elections in 2022. Because some states you can only vote your party. Well, if you're registered independent, that means you can't vote in the Democrat primary and you can't vote in the Republican primary. So when it comes time for the general election, you're stuck with whoever everybody else picked. Okay. And if you think that, if people are saying, oh, the people who are registered Republicans, they're going to be on a list, AOC's list. Okay. You're already there. All right. Changing it today isn't going to make any difference. All right. They're going to, if there's any list they're going to go off of, it's the one from November 3rd. So I don't see that making a lick of difference anywhere. Let's see. Regina Morgan, can we get a prepper island and become a sovereign state? It would probably be the most successful country in the world. We'd have no debt, no food crisis, well armed. It'd be a great idea. Sassy 56 plus. If you have antibodies, do you have to do the thing? Probably, just because they're going to say, oh, you have antibodies for COVID-19 strain 1. You don't have it for strain 2, 3, and 4, however many are going to be out there next. So yeah, you're probably still going to have to do it if it's forced on you. Yeah, Ed Perrott, work was talking about forcing him to take it. Went to HR and asked him who's responsible if we have an adverse reaction. No more mention of it. Yeah, that's the thing. Is the company all of a sudden going to be liable if somebody look at these nurses? If somebody croaks, is the company now liable because you know you sign a waiver that says I do not agree with this or whatever it was. I'd have something in my personnel file that says I took this under uh, I was forced to take this or whatever. And, they have to put it in your file. So at least there'd be something at that point in regards to, I don't want to say your last wishes, but at least, because they can't ask you if you're 6 feet under. Laura T, Ted Cruz. Yeah, I bet Ted Cruz is going to be running next time around. Uh, Zombie 5 Dumpster Dive. I was kind of peed off when you spoke out on all the Trump behind the scene, but when I removed emotion and slept and relooked at it, all came to the conclusion as you, it's all fake. And yeah, I mean, if you look at what happened, I mean, Saturday night, everybody in the live stream, I was on at 9 o'clock, and everybody's like, "Oh, Trump's going to talk at 10. Trump's going to talk at 10." So, I mean, and this wasn't only on ours, okay? I watched a replay of another live stream that's on at the same time, Deep South Homestead, and they were talking about it too, and they wanted to cut loose, and we're waiting to see if somebody happened. So everybody knew it was going to happen, except Trump, because he didn't know it was going to happen because he wasn't there. Okay, so then everybody said it was on Sunday, and guess what? Didn't happen again. And then, of course, there was the Pakistani power outage and the Italian power outage, and the Pope died, and Nancy Pelosi was arrested, and yada, yada, yada. And all of it was BS. Okay. So, guys, when you hear this, stop and think for a second. It's on YouTube. All right. I am privy to the exact same information that you guys are. Maybe I look at a different website and I see something you don't or whatever, but it's not like I've got any, red phone to Washington, D.C. or anything, and nor does any other YouTuber. Okay. And if Trump was going to make a speech, I don't care if CNN and MSNBC and CBS and NBC and ABC all decide not to cover it like they do most of the time. But Newsmax, Fox, OANN, they were going to cover it. And when they're not talking about it, it ain't true. So kind of look at take a step back when you see something on YouTube and go, let me go double check that real quick. Let me see if I don't want to use the term reliable, but let's use the term as somebody who has more information available to them than we all do, and see if it's out there. Because if Nancy Pelosi was arrested, Fox would be all over it. OANN would be all over it. If the Pope died, everybody'd be all over it. So, stop just for a second on all that. But I'm glad you calm down, let emotion out of it, use a little bit of rational thought, and go from there. Patriot Ref, Trump isn't going to run in 2024. It won't matter anyway because the Dems will have made mail-in ballots permanent. Let's just hope that somehow they don't manage to abolish the electoral college, because at that point we don't even need to have elections anymore. They can just appoint whoever the next president is. Mary Alice Daubert, planning out a garden for spring. Yep, guys, you better be doing that. Okay, it's we're depending on where you are. If you're in zone 7 or 8, you're starting seeds now. If you're in 9 or 10, you're already planting in the ground. And at least for me, in 2 weeks, I'm starting some of my seeds indoors, and in 4 weeks, I'm starting a ton of them. So, and yes, I will be doing videos on it all. I know a few of you guys have asked how to do different things, and I'll show you all that as I do it. So y'all be able to keep up with what I'm doing real time, or probably a day late, because I'll record the video on Tuesday. It'll be up Wednesday morning. So, Isaac, how long was I in the Army? 8 years. Okay, or any blah, 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 blah. Laura T, staying home out in the country. Yeah, next week, good idea. Okay, trying to catch up here. Teresa, no more elections with Biden. Yeah, I'm wondering if he even makes it to 2022, where we have a president, the illegitimate lady president, Uh, Amy Arsenault, I want to see the pee in the gutter thing. Yep, I will show you that when I do it. That's around February 15th. So when we get in there. Wendy Isles, where do I get my seeds? Now, if you guys have seen, there's a lot, and I told you guys this 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, get your seeds because there's already seed companies saying they're out of stuff. Okay, Baker Seed Company has already said a lot of their stuff is only being sent to farmers and not to Joe Average anymore. I use Burpee, Hoss Tool, and MI Gardner. Okay, and some of the stuff they have, they're out too. All right, and again, like I said before, buy heirloom. Don't pay premiums for non-GMO because there's not a single individual in the country that gets GMO seeds because those are all for corporate farms and they have to sign agreements that they won't save seeds and replant them. So somebody charging you extra because it's non-GMO, you're getting taken for a ride. Forrest, your ground is still frozen. Hey, we had snow here yesterday. I don't care about what the ground's like yet. You got to get some of the you got to get seeds in the ground. I mean, some of the stuff you have, or not in the ground, I'm sorry, but in your seedling trays, because some of the stuff you have will take 4 to 6 weeks to germinate. I mean, even peppers will take you about 3 weeks to germinate. You don't want to be planting a pepper that's that big. You know, you need that thing to be 9 inches tall. So, I mean, my pepper plants will go in cups on the 1st of February. They won't get planted until the 1st of May because by then I will have strong, sturdy, stable plants to go in the ground. Okay. Okay. I gotta scroll up again. Yeah, Teresa, CDC quietly admitted only 9,000 people died from COVID alone, hardly a pandemic. Yeah, well, that's because, like I've said many times, the hospitals get more money if the guy had a steering wheel through his chest, but he had COVID, so therefore he died of COVID. You know, and then you hear well, maybe COVID had something to do with the fact that, you know, he passed out when he was driving or whatever. You know, okay, fine. But at that point, you could say, well, gee, the guy had a hamburger, you know, when he was 22, and, you know, therefore that caused heart disease. And so let's sue McDonald's because the guy only lived to 72. So 50 years ago, he ate a hamburger and that caused heart disease. And therefore it's McDonald's fault that he hit the tree. You know, doesn't make any sense. Colleen Rich Pickett, yes. MI Gardner, yes, that's who I was talking about there. C-Max, learned about vertical gardening today. I'm hooked on the idea. Yeah, because I mean, things like your peas, your tomatoes, your cucumbers, depending on what kind of squash you buy, pole beans, cantaloupe, honeydew. There's a lot of things that you will vertical garden with, and it's going to save you a ton of space. Okay, I mean, you know, obviously carrots you can't do it with, but you know, a lot of things rather than have the vines, if you will, spread out and take up valuable real estate, grow them up a trellis. That's why when I did my video a week or so ago on my gardens outside, I showed you the trellises I built. Okay, and now for one of the other gardens, I'm going to have a different variety of trellis. It'll be built the same way, but it won't be on an angle. It'll actually be a 90-degree. So, but yeah, vertical gardening is a great way to save space. And I will tell you this from personal experience, it's a hell of a lot easier to harvest too, especially when you're my height. I don't have to be crawling around on my hands and knees, you know, if I'm picking them at waist high. So, America First caught a 9-pound bass today. Congratulations. That's bigger than I've ever caught. So I've caught striper that size, but never a largemouth. What else we got? Jen Boyle's Hoss Tools for Heirloom Seeds. Yep, that's one of the other ones I use. Ed, yep. Heels Harris will be president by summer. That's my guess. I think what was my call? April. I think that Biden finally says this is too hard for him. Or the powers that be just kind of shove him out. I mean, it's what I still get a kick out of is why, I mean, you know why Biden picked her, okay? Female, you know, of color, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay? But the thing is this, nobody, even in the Democrat Party, wanted her. Remember, she didn't even make it to January 1st, 2020 in the primaries. She was the third person to drop out, you know, behind two other people that nobody'd ever heard of, okay? Is it one of them's Eric Swalwell, who's what, under investigation now for, piddling around with China, and some other guy, I don't even remember what the hell his name was, but nobody'd ever heard of him. You know. So, how she goes from I finished near dead last in the primaries to I could feasibly be in the White House, in 6 months is beyond me. But, we've got to have that first female president. We've got to have, whatever. Doesn't matter if they're qualified. Let's put them in there. So, my thoughts there. Amy just put an order in a Baker Seats, $50 later. Okay, yeah, $50. That doesn't surprise me. Okay. Were you able to get everything? Last I heard is they were running out of some stuff. So, and I don't know, they're not one of my places to go. So, but I had heard through the mill when other people were asking me that they couldn't get stuff at Baker. CMAX microgreens, if you're in colder weather, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Great thing to grow microgreens in. If you want to know how to do it or something like that, if you go by any sort of bakery, if they're pastries, I mean, I don't care if they're, eclairs or, anything that comes in those plastic containers that's got a lid to them. Plant your microgreens in there. Shut the top on it, okay? And you've just created a little greenhouse there, okay? Didn't cost you anything. I mean, you put down an inch of soil in it or whatever, grow your microgreens in there. You got a little bit, you got your own greenhouse for nothing. You're going to throw it in the garbage anyway. Use it for something before you pitch it. And we scrolled again. Hang on. Got to find where we are. It shot up all the way to the bottom again. Okay, here we go. CMAX seeds can be found at the Dollar General and Family Dollar too. Yeah, I mean, you can find seeds there. I mean, and again, guys, those are probably going to be hybrid seeds most of the time. But growing anything is better than growing nothing. Okay, the only difference between heirloom and hybrids actually will grow you very good vegetables. Okay, because they've been crossbred for disease resistance or insect resistance or whatever. So you'll get a really good harvest. The only downside to hybrids is you can save the seeds, but if you plant them next year, you don't know what you're going to get because it's a cross. The plant you grew this year, plant C, was a cross between A and B. So next year you're going to get some A and some B, and you may not like the taste of A or something. So all depends. But there's nothing wrong with doing it. You just won't get the same thing next year as you got this year. But yeah, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, whatever it is, sometimes you get seeds in there for 5 packs for $1 or something like that. If you can find the cheapies, hey, go for it. What's the worst to happen? If you bought a couple of packs of seeds and nothing happens, you're out a couple of bucks. Okay, so and Regina just says the same thing. Any seeds are better than no seeds. Exactly. Pamela Fury, starting seeds tomorrow. Got my first mini greenhouse. There you go. Okay. There was, and I don't remember who it was with all the emails. There was somebody that emailed me the other day asking for my spreadsheet who said she was 73 years old and never gardened before. Okay. If somebody's 73 years old and has never gardened before is going to try, guys, every single one of you guys can do it. So, give it a shot. I was watching a video from Travis over at the Prepared Homestead before we went live. And, Travis was saying, guys, make the gardens as big as you can this year. I mean, Rudy's saying the same thing, food shortages. I am assuming every one of you has walked into the grocery store and your jaws hit the floor when you're seeing the price of food, So again, remember, the more you can grow, the less you have to spend. And if all of a sudden the cost of, I don't know, pick it, meat has gone up by $2 a pound. Well, if you're growing your own vegetables and you don't have to spend the money on vegetables, now the price of meat going up doesn't hurt so bad. So, did Indiana Prepper 2 come in here? I see C-Max made a comment to him. So, buddy, if you're here, I haven't seen you pop up yet. So, where else we going here? There he is. Yeah, Menards. Menards isn't down here, but when I lived up in Indiana, Menards was there. And man, I'll tell you that You think Walmart's cheap crap. That would be Menards. Mary Alice Dabbert, read up on winter sown. It makes them hardy. Yes, okay. And I'll touch on hardening off your plants when we get that far, because otherwise you're just going to be starting seeds and watch them all die in the garden. So, Lisa Preps, I've seen pallets turned into vertical gardens on Pinterest. I can't tell you everything I've made out of pallets. I've made furniture out of pallets. I've made chairs. I've got a cabinet in my house that I made out of pallets. I've got planters out of my backyard that I made out of pallets. You know, give you this. If you guys don't know this, here's a little trivia fact for you. 60% of the wood harvested in the United States is used to make pellets, if you believe that one. Okay, and that's true. All right. You know, if you have a chance to get pallets to, you know, if you're any sort of handy at all, pallets are a great source to repurpose for things. I mean, you've all seen videos of people making compost bins out of them, God knows what. I mean, there's YouTube channels with how to make stuff out of pallets. I mean, I had one on an old YouTube channel, how I made a bedroom dresser, if you will, drawers and shelves and cabinet doors and everything like that, out of nothing but pallets. So, you know, great thing. If you have access to pallets, you can use that for a lot of stuff, including making raised beds. So, you know, if you get them, use them. It's free material. A lot of places just give it away. Where else are we? Okay, Amy couldn't get any summer squash. All right, so there's one. Crap. Scroll back up. Where are we? Okay. Isaac, have you ever been and gambled in Vegas? I lived there for a couple of years. So yeah, I've been there. Best night I ever had at a casino though it wasn't in Vegas. It was actually in a riverboat in Joliet, Illinois, and I took the blackjack table for 12 grand. So yeah, that was a good night. So when I got home at 4 o'clock in the morning, my ex-wife wasn't exactly happy until I put $12,000 on the bed, and then she wasn't so mad anymore. Lisa Preps, have you tried dehydrating your veggies and fruit instead of canning? We've got a dehydrator. Ironically, as it is, primarily what we use it to do is dehydrate fish. But yes, I've got a dehydrator. Plan on doing both, especially when I'm growing the melons this year, because I'm planting 8 watermelon plants, I think, and can't eat watermelon that fast, or cantaloupe, or honeydew, or anything. So we'll plan on dehydrating that stuff. So we'll see how dehydrated watermelon comes out. That'll be an experiment, but we'll go from there. Okay. Biden didn't pick her. Well, yeah, we know that. Biden couldn't remember her name. Peter Kim, what do you think about starting potatoes as a staple? Absolutely. Okay. Guys, and potatoes are pretty easy. All right. And I mentioned on one of the other videos the difference between potatoes and sweet potatoes. Even if you don't have land, if you're in an apartment or whatever it is, go out and get yourself one of those little blue kiddie pools. You know, the thing's maybe about 9-10 inches deep or whatever. That's perfect for growing potatoes, because you don't plant potatoes more than about 6 inches deep, and potatoes are a surface growing deal. You just want to make sure they're always covered, because the sun's what turns them green, and green potatoes are poisonous. Okay. But, you know, in a kiddie pool like that, you can grow about 30 pounds of potatoes depending on the variety. All right. So, you know, and you're gonna need your starches. And, you know, Mrs. Pinball and I were talking about that at dinner tonight. You know, we had fish and rice for dinner, and you know, we kind of both joked that we were full. And I was like, well, yeah, that's why we've got all the rice in storage, because, you know, it's a starch. It will make you feel full. Okay. It's not the greatest in nutritional value, but you're gonna need to feel full in an SHTF situation too. And you can't just eat, you know, 4 ounces of meat and go, okay, I've got my protein, and eat a couple of broccoli spears, and you go, okay, I got my vitamin A and my vitamin C, and I'm good. And you're going, I'm still damn hungry. Okay. Put a couple of, a cup of rice there with it, and all of a sudden, yeah, you got your nutrition, you got the carbs that you need for energy, and you feel full. You'll be okay. So, absolutely start potatoes as a staple, okay? Because potatoes are easy to store. You can them. You can put them in a root cellar. You can dehydrate them. I mean, they're very easy to store. So the more, you can go buy potatoes at the store today, and if you have some way to store them, like I said, can them, dehydrate them, put them in a root cellar or whatever, that's a great idea, okay? Because potatoes aren't that expensive, but, Americans eat, what is it, something like 140 pounds of potatoes a person a year, something like that. So, Tommy M, thanks for the super chat there. How about making a video about making beef jerky? I might have to try that. I've never done it before, but I might have to try it. I mean, if anything, it'll be fun to try. So, Val Robinson, can you get ham radio somewhere else other than Amazon? Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to. It's not, I mean, not the only place, but I mean, just, do a Google search for it real quick and see what else has got, and then just start price shopping. Chief Jim, I might garden and I don't eat many vegetables. Yeah, in an SHTF situation, people's diets are gonna change. Okay, I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I know a ton of people. I don't like fish. I don't like fish. I don't like fish. Tell you what, you're hungry enough, and fish is what's available. You're gonna eat fish. Okay, you're hungry enough, and you don't like carrots. You're gonna eat carrots. Okay, so that's just what it is. If anything, and you don't like the vegetables, Jim, learn how to grow them. At least get the practice now, and that way later on you know how to do it. But in worst case the scenario, grow a bunch of stuff and take it to the local farmers market on Saturday and sell it. You get the enjoyment of being outside, you get the knowledge from learning how to do it, and, hey, you make your money back. So, and if anything, it's a good way to meet other people, because usually people at farmers markets and things like that, chances are they're preppers. The other ones selling stuff, they're going to have something in common with you. If they're homesteaders or whatever it is, that's a lot of what you find at farmers markets. Because Joe Farmer is not pulling up, at a little farmer's market trying to sell, 20,000 ears of corn. Amanda Pillow, what seeds am I planting in the next few weeks? February 1st, if I'm not mistaken, is strawberries, onions, leeks, and somewhere around there is my peppers, but strawberries and onions for sure. Let's see what else we got here. Prepper Mimi, hello from Michigan. Hello back at you from Tennessee. Regina Morgan, you've been looking for pellets. Somebody here locally was telling me, and I don't know if this is everywhere, but that Tractor Supply and Rural King give away pellets for free. So might be worth checking those out. Anthony Polak, make sure to grow herbs. Yeah, herbs you can grow in the house. Okay, I mean that's real easy. And the nice thing about most herbs is they're perennials, that you can just cut them and they'll grow back, and cut them and grow back. And you put them out in pots outside or whatever it is. And if it's cold where you are in winter, bring them back inside. Bring them inside and let them go in the window. I mean, I've got 2 ferns sitting in one of my windows that are porch plants that sit out on our front porch over the summer. Last year they died in the winter. Okay, this year we're like, hey, we'll bring them inside. I mean, they're $10 Walmart ferns, right? Who cares? But it's like, hey, we'll bring them inside. If they survive, great. We don't have to spend $20 on 2 ferns next year. It's January and they're doing fine. So, you can bring a lot of stuff in over the winter. I know plenty of people who they'll take their tomato plants or their pepper plants and bring them in over the winter. And, depending on what type of plants there are, sometimes they can continue to grow them. And then next year they're putting out a full grown plant when the rest of us are doing it. Now, of course, a lot of tomato plants are going to die off. I mean, especially if you're buying the determinate tomato plants, they'll die off. But indeterminates, you might be able to keep growing. Depends on your climate. Happy Mac, I encourage perennials too. Yep, asparagus, horseradish, berry bushes, fruit trees. I'm trying asparagus for the first time ever this year. I've got berry bushes and I've got fruit trees, so I'm good there. Uh, CMAX, there's a slider chart for people to buy that'll give them a scheduled planner. I can try to find the link. I can try to find the link if I can post here. Yeah, you're a mod, so you can post links. So if you see it, yeah, no problem there. But again, you can always go to almanac.com, which is the Old Farmer's Almanac. Put in your zip code. It'll tell you what zone you're in, and it'll give you rough planting dates. It's all based on your last frost date. So, there's the link. Okay, M.I. Gardner. Okay, good deal. That's not gonna certainly coming out of M.I. Gardner. I'm gonna trust it, guys. Nicole G, can you grow potatoes in 5-gallon buckets? Yes, you can. The only problem is you're wasting a lot there because, like I said, potatoes grow, they're a surface crop. So if you think of it, 5-gallon bucket's got what, about a 14, 16-inch diameter. That's all you're going to grow. All the depth that you have in potatoes and dirt you're putting in there is wasted space because potatoes are a surface crop. You're better finding something wide and flat than tall and deep. But yeah, you can grow it. But in a 5-gallon bucket, you may get 3 pounds of potatoes out of it. Is it worth it to grow 3 pounds of potatoes? There's better ways to do it. One of my friends up here told me he talked to him this afternoon, and he had found 2 tires from a dragster. Big long cars, that kind of dragster. That he's going to plant potatoes and get the old rear tires from them. Potatoes in one and sweet potatoes in the other. So that was pretty cool. Just to find dragster tires, I thought was cool. Lisa had a friend years ago that made beef jerky out of steak in the oven. It was excellent. Like I said, I've never tried it, but that might be something just to play around with if it's a rainy day sometime. I might say, hey, of course, the price of beef, we'll see. I got to find out what kind of beef I need. Go that way. Okay, we're getting closer. Scalawag, hello from Chicagoland. Move. Get out of there. Okay, I keep telling my family to get out of there. They're like, well, my cousin's pushing 80, so she's not interested in moving at this point. But, they're not exactly happy land there anymore. Where are we going here? Metal for breakfast, wrap the asparagus in bacon and grill it. Oh, yeah. Oh, trust me, I love asparagus. I've just never tried growing it. Let's see. Amy, I'm looking at a canning book, and there's a recipe for maple cracked pepper jerky. That sounds good. Is it a Ball Blue book, or, I'd love to know what book that's in, because that sounds good. Voodoo Queen, medicinal herbs are sold as strictly medicinal seeds. Okay, and again, this isn't my forte, but like I said, down on Boddington Farm has got a great video on medicinal herbs. So, maybe you guys can figure out what works best. I don't know. All I know is I've got elderberries growing, and I'm very happy about that. Just rolled up here. Save feed bags. If they're weaved bags, plastic or canvas, uses planters instead of buckets. Free. Yeah, absolutely. If you've ever seen this, people, folks, you can literally take just, you buy it in a plastic bag, your potting soil or whatever it is. You can just cut a line right across the top of that and plant right there in the bag. It's already self-contained. You're not going to grow carrots in it, but put a couple of tomato plants in there. Don't even need a pot. Just put it right in the bag, and poof, you've got your garden completely done. Garden in a bag. So I've seen people do that, but here's another one. Save feed bags if they're weaved or whatever it is. Any bag. I mean, if you've got paper grocery bags, you can use those. Not the greatest because obviously the paper is going to disintegrate, but you know you can still get something going with them. Just don't leave them on the concrete, so they're getting crazy like that. Where are we going here? Outcast Annie tinfoil growing potatoes in pots in your window. Yep. Okay. I don't know how big your pots are. I hope they're not little 12-inch pots or whatever it is. Eric Johnson, hello to you. And let's see. Ed saying he's done potatoes and tires before. It works well. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do it in tires. I just thought it was cool. They got dragster tires. Where else are we? Okay, I guess we're getting close to the bottom here. I'm catching up to y'all. Better Homes and Garden canning book. Okay. North Shore, lazy gardening, it works. Hey, no need to reinvent the wheel. I mean, if you can do something simple, do it simple. No need to get crazy with it. Okay. The only downside, like I said, of buying the bags of stuff is, it gets expensive. I mean, wife and I were at Rural King today, and they had bags of seed starting soil for $5.99 a bag. And I looked at that and I go, yeah, and the entire thing I made of seed starting mix the other day, that probably cost me $2. And my wife's like, you probably fit 5 or 6 bags in that container. I'm like, that's how much I saved. Like I said, it's about 90% savings doing it yourself. But if you don't have to do it to scale, you just want to plant 4 or 5 tomato plants, buy a couple of bags of potting mix, plant them in there, let them go. You're good. Lisa Elderberries, that's awesome. Is it a bush? Yes, it is. That's actually, I've got 2 of them. Peter Kim, in any garden, how do you keep animals from getting to your garden? I have rabbits and squirrels in my area. Okay. Few ways here. Marigolds. Rabbits and squirrels hate the smell of marigolds. So do deer. Okay. Plant garlic around. If you plant some marigolds and some garlic around the outsides of your bed, that will keep them away. There are expensive ways that you can get the wolf's urine or whatever it is. You can do that. But the most practical way I found is buy a bag of seeds of marigolds. I mean, they're not the prettiest flower, but they work. I mean, I'm not into pretty for my garden as much as it's nice, but I want productive. But plant that. And then we go through garlic like crazy around here. So we plant garlic all over the place. And I mean, I've got deer, I've got squirrels, I've got rabbits, I've got chipmunks. None of them hit my garden at all. I had 1 chipmunk in my garden last year. That was it. And then other than that, if you go out and buy a bag of sunflower seeds or whatever and put the sunflower seeds on the opposite side of the yard or something, like any animal, including humans, the path of least resistance is always what they're going to take. So the squirrels, the chipmunks, the bunnies are going to go where the easy food is, go get the sunflower seeds. On the other side of the yard, they'll leave your garden alone. So, just try it out, trick them. Okay, if this is a whole pile of food and it's free and I don't have to go picking through everything to find something, they'll do it. That 12 gauge works too. Let's see. Any good idea to keep deer away from the garden? Marigolds. Again, marigolds and garlic, best way to do it. I mean, if you a fence, that works. But marigolds and garlic are tried and true. Regina's growing blueberries. Okay, acidic soil, so obviously there. Foggy Mountain Man, do I can meat? I'm a rookie at canning. What did I can last year? I canned a bunch of green beans, a bunch of sweet potatoes. I made jardinera out of some of the other vegetables. So I'm still learning. This is new to me. Last year was my first year to attempt to can stuff. So I haven't tried meat yet. 12 gauge, yep. Your deer eat the marigolds, Lori? Okay, I've never heard that. Okay. Michelle, Lavender, garlic, sage, oregano, bee balm are all good to plant in the garden, outside of the garden. Yeah, bee balm especially because it brings in the pollinators, as well as lavender. Garlic, I know garlic, sage, and oregano. That makes sense. Those are pungent odors as well. No, I've deer. Marigolds keep deer out of gardens everywhere I've been. So I don't know where you guys are saying deer like them. Yeah, you can eat marigolds as well. Now I got to go back up here because it shot me down. Use Prepper Brian Keith. I use chicken wire at the bottom of my fence. I put it around the garden. That works. 2 foot high chicken wire. Depends on where you are. I mean, some people, live in an HOA, for example, can't have a fence. Uh, but yeah, I mean, fencing obviously is the best solution to keep anything out. Just some people can't have it. Amy, I've been on a spending spree. Got all my soil making stuff, fertilizer, got stuff. Yeah, you and me both. All my fertilizers have come in. I think I've got everything I need. All my fertilizers, I bought like a couple of years worth supply just in case I can't get it next year. So I'm good there. CMAX vertical planting will keep fruits and veggies off the ground. They'll still get at the stems, but leave your harvest. True. Except for the deer, because it's easier for the deer to reach. Where'd you go? Chief Jim, how do you test soil? You can buy test kits at, any nursery at Home Depot, Lowe's, or whatever it is. And it's somewhat accurate. They've also got these probes, kind of looks like a meat thermometer or something that you stick in the ground. It'll tell you what your pH is. And those are good for if you're trying to test what your pH is. If you want to actually test your soils for not only the pH, but also minerals and things like that, what you might need to add to the garden, you're best off sending it to a local co-op or an extension office, the college agricultural department or something like that. It'll cost you $20 or something like that to do a soil test, but you can tell them specifically, I'm growing corn and potatoes in this garden. And they'll tell you, oh, you need to add lime or you need to add sulfur or gypsum or whatever would be to get everything correct, get the minerals right and everything. So you'll get not only the answers to your soil test, but you'll also get the recommendations on how to fix it. So, take that as you will. Holy crap, it's 5 to 9 already. Wow, we went fast this week, guys. Let's see where else we are here. Got scrolled. Okay, that's where I caught up. Where are we here? Lori Ann, gonna try the garlic. Yep. If you're gonna get garlic in, get it in soon. Okay. And just so you guys know, store-bought garlic will sometimes work. But if you go to an organic grocery store or whatever, buy the garlic there, that'll grow fine. You don't need to order it online or something like that. So, but the stuff you get in a regular grocery store, a lot of times that's been sprayed with any growth inhibitors and stuff like that, and it won't work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Depends on if it got sprayed or not. But the organic stuff will grow fine. JMS, as long as you follow recommendations for canning meat, it's easy. I canned about 12 quarts of venison for my buck this year. It's tasty. Yeah, that's one thing I don't have is any venison in the house at all, and that's upsetting me. Robert Brian Keith, I live in Kansas, no HOA crap here. Thank God. Yeah, there you go. I think HOA stuff is more a suburb type and a northern type thing. Lived in that before. Yeah, in the movie The Rookie, the barbers spread human hair around the ball field to keep the deer from eating the grass seed when they were growing turf. I've heard that. The only I can't. I mean, I've never had enough hair to, I'm not a barber, so never had enough hair to use it. I mean, like the dog hair and stuff like that we vacuum up around here, I throw it in my compost pile, and then it goes in. So. There's the other thing. Dogs help too. So, because mine love chasing the squirrels. So, the squirrels eventually learn we don't want to come here because one of my dogs has actually caught a chipmunk before, which I was really surprised. Yeah, Kenneth Caroon, have about 30 garlic bulbs growing from store-bought garlic. Like I said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I've had luck. We've got our garlic that we planted in the fall, and the stuff that we grew from our own stock from last year, that's growing fine. The stuff from garlic that we bought in the store didn't come up at all, and they're literally right next to each other in the same row. So, one more if I can find it. Yeah, garlic is easy to grow. Yeah, very much. Stick it in the ground and it works. Uh, Big B preps. Have I done blueberries from seed? And if so, how do you know? If so, do you know how I can get them started? I tried 3-inch pots and no luck. Uh, okay, if you did your store-bought blueberries and you went through the whole thing on fermenting the seeds and everything like that, that's the big key. Is you got to ferment them. They're kind of like tomatoes. You got to ferment them, but then you're going to need to start those probably in your little cells rather than 3-inch pots. But I'm not. I've done blueberries one time, and that was years ago. Becky Reed, pinball. Watch Sutton's Days. Yeah, she does. She's awesome. She has a lot of canning videos. Yeah, she, upstate New York or upstate Michigan. So, yep, she's in good shape. Okay, CMAX talking about invoking the impeachment, airing now. 212 yes, damn. Yeah, Republic. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Pam, blueberry seeds can be grown from berries grown in the USA. They undergo some process that kills the seed if from out of the country. Yeah, they go through radiation. Any produce that comes in from outside the United States is radiated when it gets here, so that kills any of the seeds. So any seed that you get, you're not going to plant anything. If it was grown in Mexico, forget it. It's not going to grow here. Yeah, well, okay, yeah, meant invoking the 25th, sure. Yeah, knew what you said. What else we got? Is that? I think that's going to be. Yeah, we're at 9:01, guys, and I really don't want to run into somebody else's time because I know there's somebody else going on at 9 o'clock. And for some goofy reason, I want to say it's Ed. But thanks, guys. I hope you had a good one. Went really fast tonight. I guess I will see y'all on Saturday, and we'll kind of go from there. And you'll see me in the morning. Have a good one, guys. Thanks. Pinball out.